Everybody right now has dreams, don't they, guys? All right, everybody in the NFL, I have a dream of making it in the NFL. I got a dream of winning a Super Bowl. I got a dream of being in a Pro Bowl. I'm really not into dreams anymore, okay? I'm into fucking nightmares. You guys with me on that?
The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down and laugh when he's conquered.
Episode 8 of the Prano Brothers podcast. Week 2 is in the books. It was an exciting week, both in the NFL and in Dome Dynasty. I think no one is surprised that the Raiders are 2-0. I've been saying it for the last 15 years that they were going to start 2-0, so no one should be surprised. What is surprising is that Jeff Gilbert and the Steves are 2-0 and are total points through 2 weeks, 525, 95 more than the next highest scoring team. What do you think about Jeff's squad so far, Pasquale?
Well, hang on. You said a few things there. I just want to say also, no one should be surprised the Giants are 0-2. They've only done that 17 times in the last 20 years.
Oof.
Or 8 times in the last decade. So, yeah. What do I think about Jeff being 2-0? Well, you know what? He's talked a big game all offseason, and he finally backed it up. And it helps that he has 3 offensive players averaging over 30 points a game, which is absolutely ridiculous. And the guy spending all of his waiver dollars on Gronk last year is finally paying off.
He was playing the long game there because last year Gronk wasn't this dominant, but he is. So, yeah, we'll talk more about that in a couple minutes. So this episode, we're going to talk a little bit more about Dome Dynasty now that we're 2 weeks into the books and we start seeing how teams are shaking out. You're welcome, Bri, for doing that. That is solely because you requested it. And then we'll get into our week 3 picks. Already mentioned how Steve is 2-0, high scoring team. That is my biggest surprise. I had him kind of falling off the map and being a fringe playoff team. Most of that, I mean, I'll be honest, Gronk has really surprised me. I knew Cooper Kupp was going to be good, right, with Stafford coming into Los Angeles, but Gronk has surprised me. Derrick Henry, I wouldn't have been surprised if he fell off a little bit. He's had just, I don't know, at this point through his career, when you consider college, 1 million or maybe 2 million carries. So
plus high school.
You'd think his body would start breaking down, but he is literally a human wrecking ball. I mean, the guy is just an absolute monster. So as Steve is positioned nicely if his team can stay healthy throughout the rest of the year. I don't know. What do you think? Any other surprises through the first 2 weeks for the league?
No, your division looks to be falling in line correctly. Mikey's 0-2.
He did it to himself.
Yeah, exactly. And you, Bob, and Derek, I mean, your points are all very close to each other, so that makes sense. Me being 2-0, got a little lucky. It's not official yet. There could be stat corrections to get me. But my boy Trey Flowers getting a couple tackles late in the game on Monday to squeeze ahead of Taddeo.
He got a tackle on the last drive on the game to put you ahead of Taddeo by a point and 1.8 points, or it's less than 2 points. So yeah, you got to hold your breath. We're recording this on Wednesday, so for at least another 8-10 more hours as stat corrections come in.
Yep, but my team will come together eventually. They started off slow, but they'll be ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, that other than Steve being the highest scoring team, my other biggest surprise is you being 2-0. For the last 8 years, I've said you don't have a good team, and I'll stand by it this time. I think maybe just a little bit of luck the first 2 weeks, and so 2-0. Congratulations on the 2 wins, but I don't think it's going to last.
Yeah, well, losing Deshaun Watson, Michael Thomas again, I'm not going to be able to build a team if I trade 3 first-round picks for a guy that's never going to play. That's just not a winning strategy. But it's still early. We'll see what happens.
Yep, and I'm sure we'll talk about Jameis when we get into our NFL picks. But complete opposite this week is last week, where he just threw interceptions and looked completely horrendous, which is kind of the Jameis Winston we've come to know and love, where one game he looks amazing, next game he looks absolutely terrible.
Yep.
All right, before we get any further, I forgot to ask, what are you drinking tonight?
I got a little tip from customer to try this Balcones corn whiskey made down here in the great state of Texas. So
Corn whiskey. All right.
I decided to pick up a bottle and try it out. So yeah, it's
How
actually
is it?
pretty good. It's
Yeah?
good. Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff.
Good, good. I was so I'm in Glassboro, New Jersey right now, which is just about 25 minutes outside of Philly, home to Rowan College. I don't know if you know anything about Rowan, but a lot of college students around right now. Anyway, at the local store, they had probably the last can here of Keystone Ice because it's been discontinued. So I had to pick it up, reminisce on the 831 Sumner days. Those are the days that I do remember, and drink. Yeah, it's 24 ounces of pure gasoline. So that's what I'm
24,
drinking
man.
tonight.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
It's a big guy.
We used to get 30s of Keystone Ice at Cortland on special occasions. You know?
That was a special occasion in Cortland,
Yeah,
yeah?
it's like, oh, it's Thursday night. Hey, Gross, you want to split a Keystone? 30? Well, what about Keystone Ice? All right, yeah, let's do it.
See, I would try to do that with my roommates in Syracuse, and not all of them would be on board. Not going to call anyone out, but Jeffrey.
Not surprising.
Yeah. So
Jeff had to watch his figure.
he did. He was a D1 athlete. I was a D1 slob. So, we were on different paths at that point. Speaking of gross, hopefully we have a special guest on later. I don't know if he's going to be able to join us, but looking forward to his thoughts on the Giants this week.
And Keystone Ice.
And Keystone Ice, we will certainly work that into the discussion. So, all right. So, 3 teams at 2-0, 3 teams at 0-2, and then a whole bunch in the middle. So, we'll see how it all shakes out. We already mentioned your close game this week. I'm a little surprised that Dad is 0-2. The Liverpool Big Daddies, obviously hurt with the injury to Cam Akers, who was probably set up for a really good season in that Rams offense. Who they just look really dynamic, and that's part of what's helped Jeff is Cooper Kupp. We got to talk about the name change.
Hang on.
Go ahead.
So, one other thing, Bry's team. I'm just giving a little shout out because he complained. So we don't always, acknowledge the complainers and, give them what they want. But
we actively don't acknowledge the complainers, but go ahead.
But Bry's team's kind of interesting right now because Bry has a big 3, just like Jeff does, between Kyler Murray, Nick Chubb, and Joe Mixon. I mean, those 3 guys have been, well, Mixon not as great. But anyway, I think Bry, he had 1 close loss, 1 good win, but his defense has really let him down. And I think that's why Bry's not 2-0 right now.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I'll be honest, I was a little, I was cold on Bry's team to start the year. McLaurin's done well. If Diggs returns to form, if this Buffalo offense can step up and Diggs returns to form like he did last year, Bry's going to have a really good team. I still think that the depth is a little concerning. But yeah, Mixon has outperformed my expectations. I thought he was going to flop a little bit this year, and so far averaging 17 points a game. So pretty solid.
Yep. All right. You can go to the name change now.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about the name change. So, formerly the Cleveland Steamers. I didn't see an official notification, so I'm a little disappointed because the last one Akviva put out was pretty hilarious. But yeah, name change from the Cleveland Steamers, moving back to Liverpool. He is the Liverpool Woat, which is the worst of all time. It's fitting because he hasn't done well in the league. He's been one of my disappointments, I'll say, this year because he does have that awesome stable of running backs. Of course, I believe one of them is Josh Jacobs, who's been hurt. James Robinson certainly hasn't done as well as he did last year because of your favorite coach, Urban Meyer. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire has looked like complete garbage this year. I think it's more of a function of the Kansas City offensive line. If you watch, I know he takes a lot of shit for the fumble at the end of the Ravens game, but if you watch his individual runs, if he didn't get hit behind the line, he got 6 or 7 yards. Like, he was running the ball well. It's just the Ravens defense was on him before he could get out of the backfield. So And then you have Barkley, who, I don't know. I don't want to go on a 10-minute rant about the Giants, or
Don't worry.
have
I
you
will.
go on a 10-minute rant about the Giants. But I mean, Barkley's averaging a whopping 6.3 points a game. So
He'll come around.
I don't blame Akviva for any of that. All four of those running backs are just are disappointing right now. He's got Eckler, who's still doing well. He's got Marquise Brown, who's been a surprise for the Ravens. I'm certainly not a Marquise Brown believer, but he's the number 8 scoring wide receiver right now. So yeah, it's
You know what this might tell you. This example right here, this case study. Maybe in today's NFL, you can't build a dynasty team around running backs, because year to year they could just completely fall off the map. Injuries can destroy them. Like, I think you might be able to build around 1 or 2, have a couple, but like Akviva's team is strictly built running back heavy, receivers, meh.
Yep.
So you lose those running backs, you're screwed.
Yeah,
Obviously,
that's fair.
A lot of it's bad luck with all of them being dirt so far, but
Yeah, and I think they'll start. I think they'll start to turn it around. Barkley can't be that bad. Jacobs will get healthy. Like I said, I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire is actually better than his stats are right now. So we'll see. But yeah, I agree with you. Don't tell Bob that. He kept Todd Gurley this year, I think, and Le'Veon Bell. Those were actual keepers for him. So he is holding on to the glory days. Maybe that's his good luck charm for all these dynasty wins that he's had. But
that was what, 5-6 years ago, where those guys won him the championship, and here we are 5 years later. The NFL's, I don't want to say completely different, but it's not like it.
Yeah, it's passed those guys by for sure.
Yeah, and no one's really come into their place as, I would say, who? Derrick Henry,
Dalvin Cook,
McCaffrey,
Kamara. Although Kamara's not having as great of a year now that Breeze is gone. So yeah, running backs are, you got a 2 to 3 year window, and then they're pretty much done. So. All right, good. Any other observations as you look across the league?
Well, I noticed Mikey swapping out back of the roster defensive guys again. Seems to be his hobby these days. So then at the end of the year, or whenever we bring him on and we say, Mikey, why's your team stink? Well, I tried on defense. You see all the moves I made? So... But yeah, Mikey's team's pretty funny. Yeah.
Yep. We'll see. I gotta say, this week 3, we got a lot of good matchups that I'm looking forward to. So we got myself versus the Muff Divers, 2 of the higher scoring teams in the league. You against Bry and the Coal Miners. I think that'll be a good matchup. We have Brothers Gilbert facing off. I would love to see Tim upset Jeff. I think it's possible. We mentioned.
I was right there. Hang on. Why do you always want Jeff to lose? You just picked him as a team not to make the playoffs.
Do you see that? Okay, wait.
Well,
let's address this.
I know the answer, but I just have to ask.
Do you see how cocky he is in the text messages?
I think
how he wants to be
when you guys were in 3rd grade hanging out.
No. Yeah. He's talking about winning both leagues. It's week 2, and he's talking about winning both leagues. I'm sorry, someone's got to cut him down a little bit. I failed in the other league in BLE last week. I lost to him. His guys played phenomenal. I started a couple of the incorrect guys. I'll give him that win. It was solid. I still think I beat him later in the season when we play, but his head, I don't think he's going to be able to fit through the door at his own wedding reception because his head is so big right now. It's so inflated from fantasy football.
It depends what his record is at that point. There's still a month to go before his wedding.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, we'll be 6 weeks in by the time his wedding is. So, yep, that's a good point. But regardless,
silly question. Tim's his best man, right? Tim?
I believe so. Yeah, I don't know for sure. I only know that I'm not the best man. He never asked me. So
I wonder if Tim's going to work in some. Yeah, I wonder if he's going to be able to work in some fantasy football talk into his speech.
I hope so. Tim's probably waiting for the result of this week. If Tim has the upset, then you got to work in a lot of fantasy football talk.
Yeah.
But if Jeff beats Tim this week, I assume there'll be none. But we'll see. Other matchups, you got Sherino, who had the win last week against Dad, who's 0-2, looking for a win, and the Woat versus the Hare. I gotta be honest,
I think that's the least exciting match. Well, Derek and Mikey, and then Woat and Hare, I think are the least exciting matchups.
Yeah, that's fair. Mikey and Derek, I think, is the biggest point spread when you look at the projections. So, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I like at least four of the matchups this week. All right. With that, you want to get into our NFL picks?
Yeah, let's do it.
All
right. So picks wise, last week me and James are both trash. We both went 3-5. So there's no reason to go through that and relive bad history. In the pick'em though, Austin has taken the lead. It's 7-3 overall for the season. So I know he's been talking some smack already about that, but his first time doing it, I don't think he understands how early it is and how quickly things can change.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was his first time. Well, certainly first time with this group, and I hope it's really early and things can change, because I am in dead last right now. It's embarrassing how bad I've been in pick'em. So, I agree with you. It's early and a lot can change.
Yeah. Also, I do wonder. 9 out of 11 people put their names on here. But 2 people, someone put White Dog Turds and someone else put Ramsey Beeston. I think I know who is who, but
I think White Dog Turds is Vengel.
Yeah. And Ramsey Beeston is Bob.
Yeah. I don't know why they didn't. I enjoyed it. It was
like a decade ago that Ramses Barden was actually considered to maybe be a beast.
Who did he play for? Was it the Giants?
Yeah, he was a 6'5" receiver.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
out of Cal. He was supposed to one of Jerry Reese's, great picks, 3rd round. Oh yeah, he was absolute trash.
Yeah. All right, let's get into it. First game Thursday night, your hometown team. We have the Carolina Panthers at the Houston Texans. The line right now is Texans +8. What do you think?
I mean, I'm going Texans all the way. Texans +8 all the way. I think they played well up in Cleveland. We all knew Cleveland was going to win, but I think Houston did a pretty good job staying competitive. Now they're back home, short week. You can't take anything for granted on a short week. And a road team on a short week, Thursday night game, that big a spread, I'm going Houston.
Okay.
That simple. This will be a good one for you, James. Maybe more Jeff bashing. Colts +5 at the Titans.
The Titans just screw me every week. I pick them to win, they get fucking blown out. I pick them to lose, and they end up winning on a last-second field goal. What, their kicker made 3 field goals in that game? A Tennessee kicker hasn't made 3 field goals in an entire season in like the last 6 years. But somehow this guy comes in and makes 3 in one game. So I'm tired of this. I'm taking the opposite approach. Well, actually, maybe not the opposite approach. When I really think about this, Wentz is out. Jacob Eason is playing for the Colts, who is an absolute trash bag. So give me the Titans -5 at home.
Hey, don't talk about the quarterback I traded for last year.
No, I think that was at the beginning of this year.
No.
Yeah.
No, he was – thought Eason was lining up to be the Patriots starting quarterback last year until the Patriots signed Cam.
That was Jared Stidham.
Oh, okay. He was last year.
You can't even remember all the trash quarterbacks you've traded for.
Well, yeah, I traded for him, then cut him before the season even started. So
yeah. All right. All right. What game is next for me?
No, I'm up.
Oh, yeah, you are. Sorry about that. AFC West matchup, the most interesting, probably best division in football right now. You have the Los Angeles Chargers going to Kansas City. They're getting 6.5 points on the road.
If the Chargers were getting more than 7, I would take them, but I'm gonna go with the Chiefs -6.5. Herbert's still the Chargers are a good team, but I don't know.
I tell you,
I'm going Chiefs
Herbert
-6.5.
Herbert gets a lot of hype, but he has thrown a lot of interceptions this year for just 2 weeks into it.
He's a gunslinger.
Yeah, you're seeing the growing pains already of a young quarterback. So yeah, it'll be a challenge for him going to Kansas City.
I'd almost rather have that though than ultra conservative approach like Garrett's trying to do with Jones.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like when Eli first came in, oh man, they were going deep all the time.
Yeah,
and he was throwing picks, but I don't fault him for trying. It's better than 2-yard checkdowns and punts.
run, pass, punt. Yeah. All right.
Ooh.
What do you got for me?
You know what? You got Bears +7 at the Browns.
Yeah, I'm not a big Bears believer. I also am frustrated with the Cleveland.
That's actually my
Browns
good pick
fans.
last week, by the way.
Yeah. This is an interesting one. I just saw a tweet that Justin Fields is getting the start for the first time, and Nick Foles is backing him up. So the injury to Dalton must be significant. So give me the rookie quarterback in his first ever start on the road getting 7 points.
Yeah, I like that pick. And the Browns are going to have OBJ back, but now they don't have Landry. So
That's right. Yeah, Landry did get hurt, and Beckham is out.
no, Beckham's back in.
Or sorry, yeah, vice versa. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Up next, your team, the Atlanta Falcons, go up to East Rutherford, New Jersey, to play the New York Giants. The Giants are 3-point favorites. This reminds me, well, no, they were, I'm pretty sure, underdogs in both games so far this year, right?
Yep.
Okay, so how do you feel about them being a favorite?
It makes sense because the Falcons are absolute trash. The Giants are at home, and they always say, 3 points is like always given to the home team or given to the away team for the home team's home field advantage. So
Yep.
To me, Vegas sees this as an even matchup. They're just giving Giants the home field advantage. And since I'm a man of principle, and what I said last time was I'm not betting on the Giants until they actually prove to me that they can win a game. So I'm taking the Falcons.
Okay.
Until the Giants prove to me that they can't blow games. After watching Kurt Warner's breakdown, 16-minute breakdown of 10 of the Giants passing plays from last week, and just how many points and yards that the Giants left on the board, mainly because of Jason Garrett's horrible route tree scheming and just giving Jones nowhere to go. Like, it was mind-blowing. Garrett's been in the league for how long? A coach for how long? And he still has these
20 years at this point.
And he still has these concept route trees where he just takes guys out of the play, and there's all this space to like be used. And it was like, I don't know, eye-opening.
So that was the high-level summary of Kurt Warner's 16-minute breakdown, was that Jason Garrett's just complete garbage.
Well, he never said Jason Garrett out loud, but he was just saying like certain routes, like two guys next to each other. Why is this guy doing a go route and like jamming up this whole side when that's where you want to go? When the whole middle's wide open, drag guys. Like, it was very insightful, it was
Okay.
good.
All right.
Frustrating to watch as a Giants fan.
All right. So you're taking the Falcons with the points there.
Yeah. Well, another thing I want to say was either someone murdered Jason Garrett and wore his skin as a suit for the Giants game, or someone kidnapped Garrett's family and held them hostage during the Giants game and were demanding better play calls, because from week 1 to the Redskins game, a 4-day span, the offense looked completely different and much, much better. Play calling was better. They were doing RPOs. They were going downfield more. Like, the offense was a million times better in a 4-day span. So that's what I don't. Can it keep improving? I don't know. Maybe it can.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be 15 weeks of misery. Like, why would they revert right back to the week 1 offense when their week 2 offense was a million times better?
Okay.
But I still don't trust Garrett, like I said.
This is why the NFL has the absolute best product, because regardless of the outcomes, they keep you coming back for more. On your scenarios there, the kidnapping versus skin suit, I wouldn't put either past Joe Judge. I think he'd do either of them. So
I mean, it definitely wasn't Garrett calling the plays, because 4 days later, you just don't all of a sudden, like, you don't graduate kindergarten and become a senior in high school in a span of 4 days. And that's what Jason Garrett did.
yeah, but so I mean, this is all theoretical, but is the high schooler taking writing an essay exam, or is it multiple choice? Because I wouldn't put it past Jason Garrett to answer C on every single question and end up with a 75. I'm sorry, I wouldn't. If it's a multiple choice test, I think he can luck into a good gameplay calling.
Yeah, so you're saying
2 weeks in, he's saying 50-50.
Yeah. So you're saying Joe Judge arranged his play calling sheet, knowing his tendencies, and just landed on the good plays most of the time?
That could be, or he was wearing them as a skin suit. Who knows? All right, that's enough Giants talk. What's the next game?
Bengals +3 at the Steelers.
Yeah, this
interesting.
is tough.
That's only 3.
Yeah. I mean, both teams coming off losses. Pittsburgh was at home. I think Cincinnati was, what, were they on the road last week?
Yeah, at Chicago.
Yeah, and they're on the road again this week against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's banged up. I think they're going to get one or two of the defense's pieces back that they didn't have last week. So give me the favorite, Pittsburgh Steelers -3.
Yeah, I would take that all day too. And I feel like this line is a little bit of an overreaction to the Steelers losing at home to the Raiders.
Could be. Kind of
this
like
line should be bigger, like 4.5 or 5, maybe.
Yeah. Kind of like how the Bengals +1 last week was an overreaction to their win week 1.
Yeah.
Could be the
Which
same
I called
thing.
that.
You did, yeah, and I didn't believe it. I actually put real money on the Bengals, and that's the last time I'm ever going to do that. Okay, another big line for you. You're getting all the big ones this week. So you have the Baltimore Ravens, who just had the huge win against the Chiefs, going to Detroit, and it's Detroit +8.
Yeah, so I did pick the Ravens last week as well,
Which-
and real money on the Ravens. Everyone was writing them off because of one loss. Everyone thought KC. I mean, I understand Ravens have never beaten, or Lamar's never beaten the Chiefs and that kind of stuff, but I mean, something's got to give eventually. It's not going to be always every single time. So it's banking on that time being the one time, and it was.
Okay.
Anyway, for this game though, I don't know. Can I honestly put money on the Lions? Or not even putting money on the Lions. Can I honestly pick the Lions and feel good about it? No. So give me the Ravens. Can I pick Jared Goff to actually, like, watching the ball just fall out of his hands on Monday night? I'm sorry. It was hilarious. Does he have hands the size of a 5-year-old?
Does Bob feel this way about about Jared Goff like you do? Do you guys share similar thoughts? Because you really just think he's terrible. And I'm not saying I disagree. I kind of feel bad for the guy because you rip on him all the time. It's like you're a big bully.
I don't feel bad at all because he's one of those little Cali princess quarterbacks. And like that's where he went to high school, college too, probably. I forget where he went, but somewhere out there. And I don't think he can handle the elements. I think he's a little pretty boy. I thought he was in a great situation with McVay, and he squandered it because he stinks. And Bob does feel the same way. Bob's pumped to have Stafford, and Bob hates Goff too because Bob would watch all the games that Goff would screw up play by play that a lot of times that we didn't see. So
yeah. Stafford looks pretty dominant on the Rams so far. So
yeah, Bob just kind of stuck up for Goff because Goff was his quarterback.
Oh yeah, I hear you.
You know, that makes sense. But since he's gone now, floodgates have opened.
Okay. All right, what do you got for me?
Saints +3 at the Patriots.
Okay. Interesting matchup. You got Winston, who's just coming off a completely horrendous game, right? They put up, 7 points against the Panthers, lost 26-7. And you have the Patriots, who completely dominated the Jets, 25-6, picked off Wilson 4 times. I like the Pats in this one. If it's only -3, I think Belichick is too good. That defense is too good to allow Winston to do what he did week 1. I think he'll look more like the week 2 passer. So give me New England at home -3.
Yeah, fully agree. I'm actually surprised this line's only 3, not even like 3.5 to make us think about it.
Yep. Yeah. At that point, I would think about it a little bit, but yeah, I agree with you. Okay. Next we have the Arizona Cardinals at your second favorite team, the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are getting 7.5 at home.
See, this is what I mean. They put the hook in to make you think a little bit. I don't know why they didn't do it on the Saints Patriots, but this one makes me think a little bit. Can I honestly bet on the Jaguars? Something's got to give eventually. They're going to win a game eventually. They're going to cover eventually. Is this the game that I'm going to bet my money on for them to do that? Nope. I'm going Cardinals.
Okay. Yeah, no disagreements there. I was cautiously optimistic about Urban Meyer at the beginning of the season, mostly because I had drafted some Jaguars on my dynasty team. So ETN and Trevor Lawrence. He's not showing me much. Obviously, it's been thoroughly disappointing. So yeah, I don't blame you for picking the Cardinals there.
Next one, we got the Washington football team plus 7.5 at the Bills.
Yeah, this was a tough one. The Bills, they blew out the Dolphins. They actually shut them out 35-0 last week. The football team took care of the Giants on I'll call it fluky last play of the game. Heineke is in. My boy Fitzpatrick, as we mentioned last week on the show, injured his hip. He's now in a nursing home. Yeah, that's tough. Give me the Bills at home -7.5. I typically don't like going with the favorites when the line's that big, but I don't have a lot of confidence in the football team, specifically their defense. Their defense was supposed to be the strength, and they just gave up 29 points, and it should have been more to the Giants. So, yeah, give me the Bills.
So this is the first one that we disagree on.
Okay.
I think this line's an overreaction to what the Bills just did to Miami. They're still the week before when the Bills lost at home to the Steelers. And you got to think the Redskins, that game versus the Giants where their defense gave up 29 points, they were coming off a short week, 4-day week. Now they've had all these days to rest. I still think the Redskins defense is very good. So
you think it's good or you don't think it's good?
I do think it's good, yes. So if I was going, I would take Washington, but I can see both sides.
Okay. I mean, it's interesting that, like I said, I don't think their defense looked great last week. I do know this is Jack Del Rio's second year as their defensive coordinator. He did bring the Raiders back to relevancy when he was the Raiders head coach, but their defense was still always ranked in the bottom, more than the bottom half. They were always 20th or above. So I'm not convinced he can run a good defense, and they might be looking okay just in spite of him. So yeah, that's why I'm going the Bills. But good to see we finally disagree on a pick, and it'll be interesting to see who wins that one.
Yep.
All right. Up next, we have the Denver Broncos, 10.5 points at home against the Jets.
Yep, give me Broncos.
Broncos, no thought about it.
No, you think I'm going to trust the Jets and a rookie quarterback to go on the road in Denver, which is a tough place to play, and cover 10.5?
Okay, but consider this. I mean,
you're basically telling me that the Jets can lose by 10.
Yeah. I mean, week one against a surprisingly good Panthers team so far, and what some are calling a really good defense, they only lost 19-14. They were within 5 points against a really good defense, apparently. So I'm not, and that was on the road too. So I'm not saying it's out of the question that they keep it within 10. You might be overreacting to last week against a
You're right.
Patriots team with Bill Belichick, who dominates rookie quarterbacks.
You're right. I am, because I picked the Jets and pick them like an idiot.
That-
After I picked them and like the game was going on, I was just like, what was I thinking? Why would I ever pick the Jets? So
Yeah.
that's why I'm going based on my word again, not picking the Jets.
Okay, that's fine. Shout out to Noah Levine, who he has been hurt many times by betting on the Jets as a Jets fan. So we've all been there, him more than most. So I'm sure he's with you in your pain picking the Jets and losing.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
You got Dolphins +4 at the Raiders.
Yeah, Raiders at home only -4. So this basically says Vegas, not the Vegas Raiders, the Vegas sports books thinks this is a pretty even matchup. I'm shocked this isn't more. Like I said last week, I'm putting money on this game as soon as this podcast is over. The Raiders are banged up a little bit. Josh Jacobs isn't there. We have a couple offensive linemen out, but Carr has a good enough command of the offense right now to overcome those things. He's leading the NFL in passing right now. Peyton Barber was our leading rusher with 39 yards last week, and we still, won by more than a score against a pretty good Pittsburgh defense, even though they were missing a few pieces. On the road, 1 o'clock after an overtime Monday night game. That was a tough game to win. So yeah, give me the Raiders. Miami has the worst offensive line in football right now, and the Raiders have, two of the top pass rushers in Yannick Ngakoue and Max Crosby. So
you say that, but does Yannick actually do anything? You obviously watched the Raiders game, or are you just going based off of name because he's done stuff in the past?
He has pressures. I mean, Max has been getting the sacks. Our defensive tackles have been getting the sacks, but our entire defensive line has been producing, getting pressures, and he's included in that. Okay. And it'll be interesting. Tua has just been ruled out today, so it's Jacoby Brissett. Cool. He's beaten us in the past, believe it or not. Jacoby
this line's
Brissett.
Still 4. Wow, interesting.
Yeah, so that just confirms what we've been saying all offseason, that Tua is not a good quarterback yet. I'm not saying he can't get there, but if he goes out and the line doesn't move at all, Vegas is saying Jacoby Brissett gives you just as good of a chance to win as Tua. And we saw that last year when they would throw in Ryan Fitzpatrick against the Raiders with 20 seconds left, and Fitzpatrick would pull miracles out of his butthole.
That's why you love Fitzpatrick so much.
No, I mean, I don't particularly like him, but I think he definitely gave Washington their best chance to win that division. So, yeah, obviously I'm taking the Raiders here. I think we're playing phenomenal. We have to win this game. We've been trapped before many, many times by losing games that we should, but I don't think it happens this time.
Yeah, I think Heineke might surprise you, by the way, but that's for the Redskins discussion.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, up next, this is probably the game of the week, if you ask me. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers going on the road to Los Angeles. First time Brady's playing in LA against the Rams. Right now, Tampa Bay is favored by 1.
Yeah, so speaking of that, you said game of the week. I understand the allure of Packers 49ers, but come on, Bucks Rams. That should be the Sunday night game over Packers Niners, especially since we just had to watch the Packers Monday night.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, I'm going Rams +1. Rams as a home dog, even though it's a minuscule dog. Yeah, I'm taking the Rams as home dogs any day. Like this is probably the only game that they would be dogs at. The only team they would be underdogs at home versus.
Okay.
Is the Bucks, and it's 1. So I'm going Rams.
Okay, that's fair. No disagreement. I mean, it's a pick 'em, and
Also, Antonio Brown, fully vaccinated, out with the COVID, so tested positive.
I think, does he still have time to make it? He's got to have 2 tests within 48 hours being negative.
So-
It's only Wednesday, so.
It's possible. 2 negative tests 24 hours apart. So
Okay, so he just got tested positive today.
yeah.
He could theoretically, maybe it was a false positive, he could theoretically take a test today and get a negative, and then take one Friday and get a negative and play, right?
Yeah. So it's 4 days until kickoff. They say it's unlikely he'll be able to play.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
That's what they say. So yeah. Which is, and the Rams have the 2 best cornerbacks in the league, apparently. So with those 2 only really having to worry about Evans and Godwin, and also not having to worry about Brown at the same time, I think that's a pretty big loss for the Bucks.
Yeah, I mean, this is unofficial, obviously, because this was your game to pick. But I'll take the Buccaneers and some side action with you, because Brady doesn't just have those wide receivers; he's got running backs and a halfway decent tight end. So
True. I mean, yeah, I'm not going through every aspect of the offense and the matchups.
no, that's fair. But if you're using that as your justification for
No. That's not my justification. That's just, I'm just tossing that out there as a tidbit. My justification was the Rams. The only team that they would be home dogs against is the Bucks in the whole league, and it's only 1 point. And I think the Rams are a team that can beat the Bucks, especially at home.
Okay, sounds good.
That's my justification. Nah, because Antonio Brown's out, so I'm like, oh yeah, now I'm going to take the Rams.
All right.
Got
What's
it.
next?
I just want the record to state what my justification is.
All right, the record states that.
Good. Seahawks -2 at the Vikings. This one's interesting.
Yeah, I think this line should be more. I know the Seahawks, what they do, they lost to the Titans last week after beating the Colts week 1. The Vikings have looked okay so far. Good, not great. I like the Seahawks. I certainly think they win by a field goal. So I don't think the line's big enough. Give me the Seahawks -2.
Yep. I agree.
All right. Next, we're getting into the Sunday night game. As you mentioned, we have the Green Bay Packers going on the road, playing in, Santa Clara, the San Francisco 49ers playing. So they are 3.5-point underdogs this week.
Yeah, this is one where the hook kind of gets me because, I mean, cool, the Packers just beat up on the Lions. It's not very difficult.
It's Jared Goff.
Yeah, exactly. But as Derek says, the Packers defense is absolute trash. So I'm going Niners here. Give me the home favorite spotlight. I don't know if they'll take it to the Packers. They might only win by 3. I don't know, but I'm just going Niners. That's just a gut pick right there.
Yeah,
I really don't have anything else.
That's a tough one.
All right, last one. Thank God I didn't get this one. Eagles +4 at the Cowboys.
I was hoping you would get this one. I really don't know what to do here. Are the Cowboys 2-0, or did they lost week 1 to the Buccaneers?
The
So
Bucks, yeah.
they're 1-1. I know the Eagles beat the Falcons week 1. What did they do last week?
They lost to the Niners at home.
Yeah, lost to the Niners. So I don't know. I like the Cowboys as favorites at home, -4. I like Hurts so far. I think the Eagles are doing better than I thought they would do, but the Cowboys have too much firepower. CD looks awesome. I don't even know if Cooper's going to play. I don't think it matters. They got the running backs. They're using Pollard more, which is good because he looks better than Zeke when he runs the ball, quite frankly. So And their defense hasn't been atrocious like we all thought they were going to be. Parsons looks like the real deal on defense. So, yeah, give me the Cowboys -4.
Yep. I'm not going to say anything about that game.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. So,
because either way, one of them's going to lose. So that's really all that matters.
that's happy.
Yeah.
All right. So that is week 3, our week 3 picks. What are the standings between you and I so far?
You're up half a game because week 1 you went 4-3-1. I went 4-4 last week. We were both trash and went 3-5. So
yeah, I feel like early on betting in the NFL can either go really, really right or really, really wrong. I feel like as the year goes on, Vegas gets a lot closer with the lines. So, obviously you can miss picks later on, but it's going to be a lot closer when they have a better feel for the team. So we'll see. All right. That was good. Anything else to add before we wrap up here?
One thing I forgot to mention, the Giants have lost their starting center and starting left guard to season-ending injuries already. So shaky O-line coming in the season, now losing 2 starters. Not a good outlook for the offense or for Barkley. So
yeah, I know all Giants fans, including Aquiva, because he has him on the team, is hoping that Barkley gets more than. Has Barkley scored a touchdown? He's averaging only 6.5 fantasy points in a one point PPR league, which is just terrible. I mean, what have his stats been?
Well, he only played like 50% of the snaps week 1. Last week he played 80%.
13 carries for 57 yards, 2 receptions on 3 targets for 12 yards. Not a touchdown yet. That's bad.
I mean, I don't think anyone expected him to light the world on fire in September. I think it's going to take time. The Giants are trying to ease him in, and that's what they're doing. So
they have eased him in. Mission accomplished. Good job, Jason Garrett.
Oh, hey, he's coming off an ACL. Come on. Not everyone's Adrian Peterson.
Yeah. All right, we can't talk any more about the Giants.
Why not? Come on.
Thanks for coming on. Maybe we'll get Gross on next week. He didn't make it this week, but I'm looking forward to talking to a different Giants fan, see if they have a different perspective, because I kind of know where you stand at this point. All right, thanks. See you later.
Adios.
The autumn wind is a pirate, blustering in from sea. With a rollicking song, he sweeps along, swaggering boisterously. The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down and laugh when he's conquered and won.
Just win, baby.